Hi friends, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, if you've been here before, welcome back. My name is Liz, aka Knife Girl, and I am happy to have you here. For today's video, if you recall, I think back in February I did another things that I've crocheted so far this year video, and I guess this is kind of going to be a continuation of that. Sorry, my kitty cat's right here. This is going to be like a things I've crocheted this year quarter 2 type of video. This is everything that I've made after that video up till now, basically. If you want to see some things that I've crocheted, maybe for inspo or just to get some ideas of things to make, then keep on watching. So usually I try to do these things pretty chronologically, but honestly I don't really remember the order that I made a lot of these in, so I think this video I'm just going to kind of categorize things by type. Yeah, I'm just going to do it that way. So I think the first type of thing, now I guess I should say first, I don't know if you're a crocheter like me. A lot of times if I make something and I like how it turns out and it turns out well, I will then make several more of those just because I'm having fun doing it. So if you're wondering like, why did she make like 8 of these? That's why. But so I guess the first thing, and I don't remember if I showed this in the last video. I don't think I did because I don't think it was done then. I think it was in progress. But the first thing I made was this shrug. And I thought this one was pretty cool because it's kind of got a blue sleeve and then the middle panel bit is like this blue transitioning into pink, and then the other sleeve is pink. So it's kind of like a little color shifty moment. And I didn't use a pattern for this. I just kind of had a loose plan based on the other sweaters that I made, which is just like a front panel, a back panel, and then 2 sleeves. So literally that's all this is. It's pretty easy. Maybe I can put it on and kind of show you. I made this one for me and I really like things to be slouchy, so this is a little slouchy on me, but I think it turned out pretty cute. I like the idea of shrugs, but I haven't really found a way to style this in like a more practical application yet. Like, I feel like shrugs need to be styled in a particular way, but basically you can kind of see it was just half double crochets. It's not anything crazy. And then yeah, I was basically doing just some kind of random color switching, and I think it turned out pretty cute. I did try to sell this one at my last sale. Someone tried it on, but no one actually bought it. So I don't know, maybe I will keep this one for myself, or maybe I'll still try to sell it because I can always make another one. We'll see, I don't know, but this one turned out cute. So I made this shrug without a pattern. I was kind of inspired to make this one by the Made in the Moment sleeves, which were kind of popular. They're kind of popular in the little crochet social media realm. Since I started crocheting and started kind of following more crochet creators on social media, I came across Made in the Moment. I know they're a very popular creator, and I came across their tutorial for the sleeves and I really liked how they looked and how they turned out, so I thought, okay, let me give that a try. So I did, and I ended up making this, which is another shrug. This was a purely kind of scrappy project. I was literally just trying to use up some yarn, and it was an experiment. I wanted to see how it turned out, and I think this one turned out really good. I did this one in more kind of a sweatery fashion and less of kind of a artistic-y fashion than their tutorial, because I know they use a lot of mohair, and I've never worked with mohair. I think I would like to, but I don't have any, and I did have a lot of this just Joann's Big Twist yarn that I wanted to use up, so I made it from this. So mine looks a bit more sweatery, and to make it even more sweatery I added ribbed cuffs, just because honestly I just really like ribbed cuffs and I think they make everything look cute and sweatery. So that's how this turned out. I think this one turned out really nice, and I really liked the pattern that they were using. I thought it was like really easy, kind of this raglan style. So I made this one, and then I ended up making about 3 others. So this is the first one, obviously. And then this one I'm definitely keeping for me just because I like how cool and unique it turned out with all the stripes and everything. Then I made this one, which was another scrappy one. I was literally just trying to use up this yarn. This is the Red Heart striped yarn. I don't remember the name of the color. Maybe if I can find it, I'll put it under the screen. But I just wanted to use up this yarn, and I was just having fun doing these sleeves. So I made this one. I didn't quite have enough to finish it, so I added this purple at the end, and I think it turned out cute. And then after I made this one, I made another one, which hopefully I can show a picture here. I don't have it because I actually sold it at my most recent sale, so that was fun. I'm glad that it went to a good home. I hope the person that bought it really enjoys them. But that was very much the same. I was just trying to use up this same yarn. I just had it in a different colorway. So I did the same thing, and I, again, didn't have quite enough, so I just used another color at the end. But that one turned out well, I think. And then this is my third one, using up the rest of the yarn that was left over from the very first Shrugs. So as you can see, it's like the same color scheme. So whereas that one was just a front back panel and then 2 sleeves, this one was made in like the raglan style. And I didn't really do any color changes, but I did put ribbed cuffs on it again because I love me some ribbing. So this one turned out pretty cute, and I think I made this one extra baggy because I think I wanted the shoulders to kind of like sit lower, like a drop shoulder kind of moment. So that's how this turned out. I think I'm going to try to sell this one at my next sale. And I really have been liking making them because they're not super quick, but they're fast enough where you can kind of like start and finish a project in a day or two, maybe like a couple days, and get that kind of satisfaction of finishing a project, but it's still being kind of like a bigger thing. And also just thinking of it in kind of a more commercially standpoint. I know Shrugs are pretty popular this season of fashion, so I feel like I've been more inclined to make them because hopefully I can sell some of them. And there's a writer's strike going on, and I work in TV, so I need to make some extra money. So BT dubs, I completely support the writers. I know they're fighting for essential rights, and I support them, and I hope that they can get everything that they deserve. But my show that I work on has been pushed, so I do need money. So I have been trying to sell some crochet items, which is why I've been kind of approaching things a little bit more commercially minded. I'm still crocheting for fun, and I always will. Like, I'm not intending to make any kind of big money off of any of this. I'm mostly doing it for fun and for relaxation and all the good things that you get out of a hobby, but I'm just kind of approaching it from the mindset of, oh, if I can maybe sell a couple things here and there, it'll help me out. I can buy more yarn and hopefully maybe pay a bill or two. But yeah, so those are the Shrugs. And then I guess the next category of things that I'll talk about is, so I have many of these, as you can see. These are just little crossbody bags. It all kind of started with this one. This was just leftover yarn from my Renn Faire corset thing that I talked about in a previous video, which if you're interested in seeing the things that I crocheted for the Renn Faire, I can put that video up here and link it below. But it's just a cute little crossbody with a cute little flap. I don't know if you can see, but it's just this kind of little scallopy detail. Pretty simple, mostly just made it for myself, but I was like, oh, it's cute, so if I can sell it, that's cute. But I always like little crossbody things like this. I think they're handy. Like, if you don't have a pocket, you can throw your phone and your keys in there, like when you're walking the dog or something. So, and that's another thing that's pretty fast and easy to make, and I have fun making them, and I can give them as gifts to friends and stuff. Then I made this one. I was staying with my sister over the Easter holiday and mostly just went to Joann's to get some yarn so I could have something to crochet on the plane. So then this was the product of that. And then I learned how to make these little skulls. I found a tutorial for a skull granny square, which I can try to link below and I'll show you here. I actually never made the full skull granny square, but I just made the skull from it and I thought it looked cute. So I've been making earrings from it. Maybe I could put a picture. And then I just took this one and I just sewed it onto this little colorful crossbody bag that I didn't make the bag for the skull. I just made the bag to, again, use up the yarn and have something to do, but I thought it would be kind of cute to juxtapose this really like kid-like little primary color yarn with this skull. So I don't know, I thought it was cute. And then I started experimenting with checkerboard patterns. So I made, well, I have 3 of them. And honestly, I don't remember which one I made first. I think maybe this one was the first one actually. So I was experimenting with checkerboard pattern, and I think maybe it might have made more sense to not use this cotton yarn, but I like using the cotton yarn for bags because I feel like it just kind of works a little bit better, and it was just an experiment, so I don't know, it turned out okay, but I liked it. I think it's cute. So it's just this little checkerboard bag, and I thought, well, that one turned out okay, so I made another one. And this is just like a gray and a pinky kind of red. And then I made a third one, which is kind of multiple colors of yarn in one. But honestly, a lot of these were just projects to use up some yarn and to keep myself busy. And then I just, again, like if I had fun making one thing, I want to make it again and again. So I have 3 of these. And then after having some success with the checkerboard pattern, I've been kind of interested in trying pixel grids and crocheting images into grids. So I made this critter. This was an experiment all the way through, and it honestly was not very successful. There are a lot of things wrong with this, but I think it's still kind of cute, and I think the colors are cute, so I brought it to my sale, and I'll keep bringing it to sales until someone buys it, or I'll just use it to carry my phone around. So how I made the picture was I found this app, or well, I guess my boyfriend sent it to me because I asked him to help me find something that would work, and I found this app for the iPad, which is honestly pretty clutch, so you can see, but it actually allows you can either draw a picture and it'll kind of help you transform it into a pixel grid, or you can even take an existing picture, you can posterize it, which means you can compress it down to a set number of colors. Say if you wanted to make a pixel grid and use only 2 or 3 colors of yarn, you could take an image and posterize it down to a pixel grid, and it'll let you determine how many pixels wide by how many pixels tall, which I think that app is actually pretty incredible for any kind of artists who do pixel grid type things like knitters, crocheters, cross stitchers, etc. So if you are interested in that, definitely check it out. I was just, playing around and just taking like pictures of things that I might be interested in crocheting one day and just turning them into pixel grids, and it was working really, really well. So this one was just a doodle. It was intended to be a bigger doodle, but like I said, this was an experiment, and a lot of things went wrong with this. So at some point, I just gave up and was like, okay, I'm over it. I'm just gonna, just finish it and be done. It was supposed to be like a bigger picture. Like you can see there's supposed to be more squiggles up here. And then I don't know why. I think I just got sick of it, or I was messing it up. So I was like, I'm just gonna stop. And then the back was supposed to line up with the front, but I think I ended up making it too wide. So the back was supposed to be like this, but it was too wide, so I turned it on its side, and then I was like, okay, it'll just be a flap, but the flap is crooked and it's all weird and wonky, but it's whatever. It's cute. I don't care. It's a little smiley face guy who cares? It was a learning experience. And then speaking of learning experience, the last little crossbody I made was also an experiment. Another little scrappy project. I just wanted to experiment with making like a little circle bag. So I just used basically all this one kind of color changing yarn from Daiso, and it turned out okay, but if I did it again, I would definitely use a different color yarn just because I don't think the colors are really like working very well. Like this was all just one little skein of yarn, and it has, as you can see, different colors. Like if the whole bag were this color, that would be cute, but then there was this brown right in the middle, and I don't know, it just didn't look cute. And then the blue, I should have definitely like cut out the last of this gray and just started with this blue so that it would be all the way around, but now it's got this weird little gray bit, and I don't know, it turned out kind of ugly, but someone might like it, I don't know, or who knows. It was an experiment, like I said. It turned out okay. I would definitely change some things if I make that again, but it was mostly just something to do. So my next category is vests / tank tops. So this is another purely scrappy project, just made from, again, scrap yarn that I was trying to use up. And this was also an experiment. I actually started it in kind of the raglan style, the same pattern as the Made in the Moment sleeves, but instead of continuing the sleeves down, I just continued the body down, and I used this kind of weird mesh stitch thing that, I don't know, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but I don't know, it turned out okay. I actually did make it longer, but I took off like a few bottom rows because it was like the color was weird, and I just thought it looked a little bit better with just this kind of more simplified color scheme. I don't know, it turned out okay. It was an experiment, and I did the exact same thing with this one. Maybe I can put a picture of me wearing it, but I just did kind of a tighter stitch to make it kind of more, you know, less holey. And then I experimented a little bit with some surface crochet, and I was thinking like, what is a kind of a very simple pattern that I can try to put on the front so that it's not completely blank and boring, but it's not something that's too hard. So I came up with this little Aquarius squiggle because I'm an Aquarius, so it's like your most simple, basic little squiggle, but I thought it was cute. I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence about this top, mostly just because of the color, because I'm so very, very pale that this color just kind of accentuates my paleness, which is not really a bad thing, but it just looks so weird. I just think that it would look so much better in a different color. So my ideas were, maybe I'll try dyeing it, or I'll just try selling it and making another one. It wasn't that hard. So I think that's kind of my plan with that one. I've been doing a lot of experimenting, you know, trying a lot of new things, learning what works and what doesn't. And that's what a lot of these things are. So this one was also an experiment, and it also didn't work. I think it turned out really well. The only issue was I just was not measuring it right at all, or I think how I was measuring it was very flawed. Like I was holding it up to myself, but I wasn't factoring in like the depth of my body. So I made it like wide enough to go from shoulder to shoulder, but I didn't make it like deep enough to cover, you know, my expanse. So it ended up just vastly too small, but I thought that was fine. It was cute. Like I can sell it. It's just a cute little mesh vest with this cute little strawberry colored yarn. So I think it turned out pretty well. So hopefully I can sell this one or give it to somebody, but it's definitely a much too small for me. And I did start to make a second one, but I think I also made that one too small because I, again, was just not factoring in my depth. my, what is this, my Z axis. You've got your X and your Y, or your X and your Y and your Z axis. I was not factoring in my Z axis, so that one was too small. I kind of came up with an idea for a workaround, but then I kind of lost interest in it, so it's just kind of half finished somewhere. So maybe I'll finish it eventually, I don't know, but until then I've been working on other things. So a few weeks ago I did a sale at an event called Shop and Skate, which is an event put on by a friend of mine, and it's kind of like an event where roller skaters can show up and skate, and then there's also vendors, and so I was one of the vendors. And I had made just a water bottle holder strap thing, which I can put a picture here. I just made it at my sister's house. Again, it's just something to do, like, you know, when the babies are napping, just to have something to do with my hands. I made it for fun, but I ended up selling it to a friend of mine who is a roller skater, and they were like testing it out, you know, like moving around, like seeing how it would feel to skate with it on, because it's just like a strap. And that gave me an idea for how to kind of optimize a water bottle strap for a roller skater. So this is the one that I'm most proud of. I made a prototype, which I can put a picture here, but I ended up taking it apart because the prototype wasn't working that well, and I thought I could use the yarn for something else. So I took that one apart, but this one that I have here is the second version of it. And the second version, I took everything that wasn't working in the first version and I improved it, and the second version has been working way better. So that's kind of the final version that I ended up going with. Basically, I made 4 total so far. This was the first one I made of this, what I call Mark II. The reason that I'm so excited about this water bottle holder, I think it's really like a cool thing for people who like to do active stuff, but you can wear it as a crossbody, but you can also wear it as a backpack type thing. Like, not a backpack that you can put other stuff in, but just you can wear your water bottle on your back. So for example, for things like skating, it kind of helps you be a little bit more balanced, so you don't have all the weight of your water bottle on just one side. Or if you're doing something physical where you have a lot of movement, you don't have it like banging against your leg while, say, if you're like walking or hiking or skating or riding your bike, you can wear it on your back so that it's a little bit more balanced and distributes the weight of your water bottle a little bit better, because when water bottles are full, they're obviously pretty heavy. So I just thought that was a really cool thing. And yeah, I took the things that weren't working in the first one, like it was a little bit unstable. It was kind of sliding all around. The bottle was like sliding all around inside the holder thing. So I kind of made it more stable, and I think it turned out great. I tested it with my 32 ounce Nalgene, and that's the one I kind of made it for. It fits pretty well right in there, but then I also tested it with, I have this 40 ounce bottle. It's like a insulated like hydro flask type bottle. So I also tested it with that to make sure that it would fit, because a lot of people use bigger bottles and it works. So yeah, here's that. I made this one, which is like this cute summery yellow and orange. And then I used this other yarn, which is just, this is all the same yarn, but it's like another one of those color changing yarns, which is like a more neutral kind of tans and browns and whites. And then I made this one with this other kind of color changing yarn, and I think this one's my favorite. I'm going to keep this for me. I'm going to sell the others at my next sale, but this one I'm going to keep for me. This is my pink and green one. And then the last one I've made was this kind of weird little color block one. This was just, again, to use up some yarn. So it's like blue, and then the strap is purple and pink. A lot of this stuff I've been using up scrap yarn because, again, writer's strike. Don't have a lot of money to be spending on yarn, so I've been trying to use what I have. And these are all made with cotton because I thought it would be easier to wash, easier to care for, and hopefully a bit stronger when holding water bottles. So yeah, I think I need to do a little bit more testing, but I think this is a cool little thing that I made, and I'm very proud of it because I designed it all on my own, and I think it is a cool design, and maybe one day I can make a tutorial for it. If you want to buy one, message me. Maybe I can make you one. Follow me on Instagram because you can message me on there and we can definitely talk about me making one for you. And then on to the last section of things that I have been making. That is, I have been making hats. But not like beanie hats. I've been making like little bucket hats. So this was the first one I made. It was definitely, again, an experiment. I was honestly just trying to use up this leftover yarn from my Shrugs, and I was like thinking that I was going to make a bag, but the bag wasn't working out so great. So then I kind of pivoted and was like, well, I already have a round shape. Maybe I can make it a hat. So I made a little hat. And this one is very floppy. Honestly, kind of cute though, with my hair that was supposed to be pink, but it's not really pink because I didn't buy enough hair dye, but it's kind of cute. But yeah, it was supposed to be this little like sun hat thing with this little like ruffly hem, and I think it turned out okay for being an experiment. But I took what worked from that one and I made a couple others. Like here's this one. These others are all like acrylic. This one is cotton because again, just trying to use up all my yarn. So this one is a cotton. It's more like a bucket hat type situation, very floppy. I do want to look into stiffening these with, I know you can stiffen them with like a mixture of glue and water or some kind of stiffening spray. So I do want to experiment with that because I would like them to be a little less floppy because they're pretty floppy right now. But yeah, there's this one was kind of more of a pure buckety type shape. And then I made this one. I kind of made like a wider brim on this one because the goal was to make a sun hat, because I don't know if you can tell, but I've really been interested in sun hats lately just to protect my pale pasty skin from the evil sun. So I made this one as a bucket hat, but kind of with like a wider brim. I made these two and I added cat ears to them because I thought, hey, that would be cute. And like, hey, if I were a person who was gonna buy a bucket hat from somebody, I would want it to be cute and maybe have the option of cat ears as like a, why can't I make it straight on my head? God, I'm like looking at it in the viewfinder and it's like not mirrored. So, but yeah, it's like a little bucket hat and it's got cat ears. That's pretty cute, huh? That's pretty cute, especially with my orangey hair. I don't know. Again, I'm thinking of the kind of more commercially minded, like what would people maybe want to buy? And again, bucket hats are pretty popular this year, so thought I would experiment with that. And then this is the most recent one I made. I was trying to stiffen the collar with just adding more like tight stitches around the thing, but it ended up curling like this. So I don't know. Honestly, it's pretty cute. It looks like a little bowler hat. But so those are my hats. Where I'm at now, because I am really like into big summer hats right now, I'm not really happy with those just because the kind of yarn is obviously like the kind of yarn that I've been using, which is just acrylic because that's all I have, is not the best for something like hats. So I ordered this raffia yarn, or it's like raffia like paper yarn, and I've been kind of experimenting with it, hoping to make a more stable summer hat. But as you can expect, it's a little hard to work with, so I'm learning. But yeah, that's basically where I am at right now with my crochet projects. I'm working on one more shrug, hopefully for this other sale that I hopefully have coming up cross your fingers. It hasn't been confirmed yet, but they sent me a message saying they're interested in having me be a vendor. Then I actually applied, so they messaged me before I had actually applied. So then I sent in an application, but I haven't heard back yet. I haven't like paid for my spot yet or anything, so I'm not, you know, putting all my eggs in that basket. Oh wait, I forgot one more thing. When I was making the cat ears for the cat ear hats, I made some just loosey-goosey standalone cat ears to put on headbands because I thought that would be cute. And you can kind of shift them around depending on where you want your ears to sit. But I made two similar colors. There's like purple with like a more muted pink and purple with like a more bright pink. I just thought these would be another cute little thing to sell. I don't know, so we'll see how they go. They're pretty easy, so I might make a couple other things. Oh yeah, another thing I learned and that I have been making is these little strawberry pouches. I know I talked about this in the Renn Faire video because I did make these for, I made one for my Renn Faire outfit and then I was having fun, so I made a few more and I sold a couple at my last sale, so I'm going to try to make at least a few more to sell a few more if I get this next sale. But yeah, that's where we're at. That's everything that I have crocheted so far this quarter, spring into summer. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please consider subscribing and giving me a thumbs up. And I guess I'll see you next time. Bye, friends.